on DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones and get away. Night or day, it's John DeSando on the radio.
This special edition of Cinema Classics celebrates Ohio Goes to the Movies, a signature event of America 250 Ohio, and is co-produced by John DeSando and Mary Yerina, and hosted by Mary Yerina. Listen to shows Thursdays at 8:01 p.m. on WCBE 90.5 FM, and listen to shows and read reviews online at WCBE.org.
I'm Mary Yerina.
And I'm Molly Kreuzman.
And this is Cinema Classics. Molly, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be with you today.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. We are talking about something that's near and dear to your heart, and that is movies affiliated with Ohio in our special series. And today we're talking about Rain Man from 1988. Can you tell our audience a little bit about the plot?
So the plot is Tom Cruise is a wealthy, hip guy that sells fancy sports cars. He's kind of a wheeler dealer who suddenly finds out he has a brother. And he goes to find his brother, and it's a marvelous coming together of two incredibly different people and finding all the love that they have for each other.
And it's a unique situation as well, because Charlie Babbitt, played by Tom Cruise, is estranged from his father.
That's right.
And he comes to learn about his brother because basically when he goes to Cincinnati for his father's funeral and the reading of the will, he finds out that he's been left the 1948 Buick Roadmaster convertible and rose bushes. The rest of the multi-million-dollar estate has been left in trust, and he goes through the process of figuring out who the beneficiary of that trust is, and it's his much older brother, Raymond, played by Dustin Hoffman, and he is institutionalized because he has autism, but is also a savant.
Yes, which is often the case. Ironically, one of my very first volunteer jobs in high school, I worked at Nysonger at OSU,
Really?
which is for people with autism, and this was, well, not quite the dark ages, but close.
Don't date yourself.
Yeah.
Don't date yourself.
But it was an extraordinary experience because I came to see how people who are labeled as less than are often more than. So what I found with these folks were that they had the ability to focus in on things that most of us couldn't, that most folks with autism, or that are on the spectrum, as we say, have almost superpowers in some realm of their life. And certainly the character Raymond in Rain Man has that capacity.
Absolutely, and you actually share some history with Dustin Hoffman. He spent a year preparing for this role, and he talked to a lot of people. He observed a lot of interactions with people with autism or other forms of disability. But interestingly, he also worked in a psychiatric unit or a mental institution early in his career when he was trying to, make it as an actor.
I think I remember that, and I didn't remember that just until you said it, but I believe, yes, that is true.
Yeah, and I would say part of the reason to see this film is not only is it a wonderful buddy movie, road movie, which is what it becomes when they leave Cincinnati, because Charlie, in order to acquire part of his dad's estate, basically takes Raymond away from the institution, and because Raymond won't travel anywhere that's dangerous, so they can't fly because he's aware there's been accidents with different airlines, except Qantas.
Right.
But Qantas doesn't fly out, famously, but Qantas doesn't fly out of Cincinnati.
It just doesn't. No.
And, we also, they come across an accident on the freeway, and then they have to leave the freeway and take side roads to try and make it all the way to LA, where Charlie's trying to pay for these cars that
Right.
he borrowed the money to import in, these 4 gray market Lamborghinis. They won't get out of EPA inspection because they're failing, and he owes like $80,000.
It's a lot of money.
He's really wheeling and dealing at this
Yes.
point, so he's really trying to secure part of the estate because of his business interests, but also, I think, out of animosity towards his dad.
Mhm.
And initially, I think, towards his brother. But what blossoms between them is really amazing. And I know Dustin Hoffman won the Best Actor
Mhm.
for this, and
Mhm.
rightfully so, because acting is so much about engaging with who you're in a scene with.
Yes.
And in this case, because of his autism, he's one way for most of the film. There are glimpses
Mhm.
of how much he loves his brother
Mhm.
Charlie, but he can only connect so much.
Mhm.
And so really the burden is on Tom Cruise in this. And I know he was later nominated for Born on the 4th of July, but I actually felt like this performance, because he carries the weight and he carries the connection with Raymond, Charlie having
Yeah.
to connect with Raymond and evolve so subtly over
Yes.
the course of the
Yes.
film, that I was disappointed he didn't even get a nomination for this.
I have to agree. I really feel like in this film he comes into his own as an actor. He really stretched himself over the course of this movie because it's believable. Everything in this film is believable. You're never taken out of that magical realism, which for the subject matter is bravo, right?
Absolutely.
It's just incredibly well done. Both by Dustin and by Tom. They both just did a wonderful. There's so many incredible things about this film. I had the chance to rewatch it recently as part of Ohio Goes to the Movies at the historic Plaza Theater. Just wait.
John, am I early?
We're recording. Hi. Be a little editing here.
You were saying.
What was I saying? So I got to see it at the historic Plaza Theater, and actually the governor and first lady were with us also with some
Oh,
of their
wonderful.
family. It was extraordinary. I had not seen that film in a long time.
Me as well, and I welcomed the opportunity to revisit
And I
it.
didn't know. I really was so trepidatious because I thought, is this going to hold up? We know so much more about autism and the spectrum, and will this feel like a caricature? Will this feel, unworthy of portraying this part of our population? And I thought it absolutely held up. The only giveaway I thought of the time period was the clothing.
Very much so.
Right?
Yes.
Right?
I mean, as soon as Tom Cruise comes on camera, and he's in the first scene.
Yes.
Because the setup is about him importing the cars and
Yeah.
being the wheeler dealer. So he's wearing very 1980s
Yep.
style hip clothing,
Yep.
and the hair is
And the sunglasses.
and the sunglasses and that gives it away.
It does.
Certainly Raymond's clothes do not
No,
give him
they're
away.
they're timeless.
They are timeless.
Yes, yes. And there's like Cincinnati Reds things that he wears, and that is part of the joy of seeing it in Ohio, is you just feel such pride in it having been made here. But it's interesting in a lot of ways. One of the things I say about movies, and specifically about why movies and seeing them in theaters is so important right now, is because they take you to a place, or they show you a friendship which is so antithetical to anything in your life. I think of The Shawshank Redemption,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
And yet you feel for those characters, you get emotionally involved in those lives, you stop judging, and you just start taking in these people where they are, and it gives you the opportunity to maybe change your mind about something.
Very true.
And I think right now that is so critically important, that we just find that time where we connect with each other instead of always talking about how we're different or what's wrong with everything or blah, blah, blah. It's like, go to the movies, sit in a dark theater, have a communal experience, learn about a life that you may not have ever been in touch with, and just allow yourself to feel that and to have that experience.
And to feel it with others. I think your point about a communal experience, because I mean, I did stream this at home. I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater with you. But when we're streaming something at home, we have the opportunity to pause and take a phone call and do other things. So the fact that you get to experience this in the theater still because of Ohio Goes to the Movies just makes it all the more enjoyable.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention, because he's received a lot of accolades for this, although he's not from Ohio, Barry Levinson was the director of this film.
Stunning.
And he actually makes an uncredited appearance at the end when they're now in Los Angeles and Charlie is trying to get custody of Raymond for all the right reasons.
For all
now,
the right reasons.
Because he's evolved as a human being
Yes.
at this point.
Yes.
So it really brings a nice closure to the film, although the final draft of the script was delivered hours before the Writers Guild strike in 1988. And so there were no writers available to help close the movie out or make any adjustments to the script. So what we see is basically what they delivered without adjustment.
Nice.
So it's an interesting context to the film. It did go on to be one of the highest grossing films, if not the highest grossing film of 1988. And in addition to Best Picture and Best Director and Best Actor, it also won the Academy Award for,
I think, screenplay.
yes,
Yeah. And I know that
Best Original Screenplay.
Hans Zimmer did the music.
He did.
And it was a very pivotal score for him as well. It was very different than anything he had done before, and he really stretched himself for this. One of the things I'm always fascinated about in movies is music, because that carries your emotional, whether you realize it or not. I mean, how many scary movies have you ever seen? If you turn the volume off, it's not nearly as scary.
Exactly.
Yes. So
and the music for this does stay with you. It's almost like another character.
It is.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the future when we talk about The Social Network, and we will talk more about the Ohio connections that we have with Rain Man, and also just the Ohio film industry in general on our podcast Double Take. So I hope our audience will join us for that. What's your final recommendation about Rain Man?
Absolutely go see it. Absolutely go see it. I believe we are showing it a couple more times across the state, and all of the Ohio Goes to the Movies screenings are free and open to the public. So this is your chance to go see it on the big screen. You won't be sorry.
Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely.
I'm John DeSando.
Classics, let's go to the movies and share some popcorn, soda pop with our friends. Turn off our cell phones.